Hello, welcome to episode 164 of the Notcast. Today I'm going to be talking about an album that had its 30th birthday this weekend, and I'm going to be talking about the psychology of box set packaging and how people design box sets so that you spend your money on them. The album in question, in case you hadn't already worked out from the t-shirt, U2's Achtung Baby, which was released on the 19th of November 1991. So 30 years ago this week. Recently had its 30th anniversary reissue version that came out, and I'm going to use that as the springboard to talk about how box sets are designed to make you part with your money. Now, this may sound very much like I'm an old grump that wants to tell you not to spend any money on anything that you don't need. The world will be very, very dull if you don't spend money on things you don't need, because ultimately all you'd do, you'd be eating bread and you'd be doing nothing in the way of entertainment. You wouldn't be watching anything or listening to anything that you'd chosen, just what was there and what was free. Thank God for Spotify, but Spotify needs to pay its artists more money. I'm going to talk about the notion of a mass-produced work of art and how a box set is designed to make you feel pleasure and privilege and interest, and how you're going to be excited by owning this expensive artifact that is ultimately completely bloody useless because the whole thing is on Spotify and YouTube. Don't worry, I know I'm a hypocrite when I talk about these things, because obviously I have bought the odd record or two in my life, but let's have a tour as to how a box set works and operates. This is the standard 1991 vinyl release of U2's Achtung Baby. I think it's their 8th studio album, the one after Rattle and Hum, whether that counts as a studio album or not. And this is an original 1991 pressing. I paid £1.75 for this as a second-hand copy. It is, put technically, beaten up to shit, but I love it. And it has the original lyric insert here. It has the inner sleeve here, which has the marks and scars of time, and deep inside there it's got a tightly packed 55-minute LP across two sides of a record. In fact, you won't be able to get a single disc version of Achtung Baby these days. Everything is on 2 LPs. An LP itself costs remarkably little to make in terms of actual raw materials, though there is a 30 to 35 week lead time at the moment. Now, you've got to remember the cost of manufacture has absolutely nothing to do with the cost that they're going to charge you to make something. So, for example, something with a really high markup, let us pick a 2-litre bottle of Coca-Cola, full fat. That costs somewhere in the region. The Coke itself costs something like 6p to manufacture. Those bottles sell for at least £2. A can will sell for somewhere between 80p and £1, even though the ingredients themselves will cost about 1p. When you buy a can of Coke, you aren't buying the Coke that's in there. You're buying the marketing budget, you're buying the ideas, you're buying the adverts where to tell you that holidays are coming. You're buying all the branding and everything that goes with it, and that's what you're paying for. You're not paying for the Coke. The Coke is infinitesimally small in terms of its value compared to the price that you're paying. In the same way that one of my partners used to manage a cinema and told me that actually a cinema is a sweet shop, and if people didn't buy sweets they would go out of business, and the markup on popcorn is astronomical. A tub of popcorn would cost about 35 to 40p in terms of raw manufacture costs. They will sell it to you for something like £7 or £8. That's a lot of lovely profit there. So when we talk about buying mass-produced works of art, we are talking about what it actually is very, very cheap to produce. The raw ingredients of an LP, paper, vinyl, that's not expensive. The raw materials that go into a human being in terms of water, sodium, various forms of other things. If you buy the raw materials that make up a human being, it costs somewhere between about £6 and £8. We are cheap. Human life is cheap, but I wouldn't want to argue that in a court of law. Let's go back, I think, a little bit to Achtung Baby, released in 1991. When it was released, it came out in 4 primary formats, by the way. So it came out in cassette, it came out in vinyl, it came out in CD. In Europe, the CD version was this standard dual case CD. In America, there was an eco pack. Here it is, and this one opens up. And apparently this version will biodegrade over the next 500 or so years. I intend to live long enough to find out what it looks like. It's got a slightly different disc in there. It's got some photographs you know, all the stuff that makes you feel like you're an important, valid and loved member of a secret club that likes a band. And of course, liking a band isn't just a thing about, well, I like the music, they've got good songs. There's an element of you know, ownership and belonging into a tribe, and elements of kind of like knowing a thing that nobody else really knows. It's all part of the appeal, really. And so Achtung Baby was a big selling LP. It probably sold 10 million copies. I haven't looked it up on Wikipedia. I probably should have done. There is no way that anyone could say that this band was a secret at this point. They played arenas, they played stadiums. The Zoo TV tour played to probably 3 to 4 million people in various arenas and stadiums across the world, and they played something like 130 days. You can't do that unless your band is, put bluntly, bloody enormous. So what we're going to talk about is about packaging, and how packaging on box sets is designed to make you feel like you are a member of a secret and exclusive club. For this, I'm going to pick a primary example of upselling inside packaging to make you feel that you've got something that perhaps nobody else has really ever got. The most obvious and pertinent, the earliest chronological example I'm probably going to bring out is this release here from 2002 from Iron Maiden. A band who, it's fair to say, their average fan didn't used to have a huge amount of disposable income. There is a website called YouGov where you could look up the demographics relating to a band. And by the way, almost every band absolutely knows this stuff about themselves. They've got marketing coming out their ears. If you want to give you a brief idea of what an average U2 fan looks like, we look here at this site called YouGov. This is the free version of it. It will tell you about U2 fans, and it will tell you about their average age, whether they're liked by certain people. So for example, 92% of people have heard of U2, 44% of people like them. They are disliked by 18% of the people that YouGov have polled. They are listed at the 208 in the list of all-time most popular music artists from the man in the street. You look at the filters that we've got here around the age. This is really fascinating stuff, I think. Millennials, they are liked by 48% of people, Generation X 51, and baby boomers 45. You then look at gender and politics. So for example, it's fair to say 54% of people that like U2, or 54% of Conservative voters like U2, 44% Labour, 47% Liberal Democrats, and then EU referendum, 47% of people who voted to leave the EU, like U2, and 42% of people who voted to remain, like U2. Those numbers don't add up to a full 100% because some people didn't vote. But you could also look at, for example, things like, well, what's the average age range? Where are they most popular? Where do they live? How much spare income have they got? So, for example, when I had a paid trial of YouGov, fans of the Sisters of Mercy had, on average, about 10 years ago, £125 of spare income every week. Fans of Iron Maiden had somewhere between £80 and £100 a week. This box set, Eddie's Archive, by the way, cost about £100 when it was released in 2002. This is the second edition. It makes sure it tells you on the back, reprinted 2003, was slightly cheaper, but not very much cheaper. And then you can kind of go through all type of things and go, well, people who like U2 also like, and get this, Fats Domino, Enya, the Cranberries, Depeche Mode, Prince, Led Zeppelin, George Harrison, David Bowie, so on and so forth. Probably Coldplay as well, actually, although I didn't look that far down the list. Bands will know this stuff. They will know who they're targeting when they release box sets. They make an offer to the market, and the market will either buy it or it won't. Iron Maiden's Eddie's Archive, which was released in 2002, is a 6 CD box set. It was one of the first really premium high-end box sets that was released, and this was designed to really tick all the boxes around what an Iron Maiden fan would want in a box set. So, for example, with packaging, Jody Ivy Long, who worked for Apple, he described packaging as, you design a ritual of unpacking and make the product feel special. Packaging can be theatre. And when you look at the packaging that you've got in box sets, it's theatre. There's a process of discovery. This, you're holding this, and it's like a steel box that's specially manufactured. It's got, the monster Eddie on the front, Eddie the Ed. It's got harks to the design that we've got for the Dance of Death cover, I think, there, and some of the other ones. And it feels like you're holding something that should be out of Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. The moment where they open the Ark of the Covenant, you've got a tangible, touchable object. It's, you really feel like perhaps you're getting your money's worth here, although it depends if you like Iron Maiden. If you don't, clearly it's a complete waste of money. Don't spend the money on this, spend it on something else. I'm sure there is going to be plenty of Adele albums available for you. And when you open up inside the archive there, it's sold as the archive. It's Eddie's archive. It's an archive of rare and unusual things. You half expect top men to be looking at it, people that are deeply versed in the mythology of Iron Maiden and the secret meanings behind everything. So what you've got when you've got the box set is effectively you've got to try and create something that feels like it's a majestic expenditure here. This is a luxury product designed not just for the average fan, but for you. And the second printing, there's a trophy value in having the first printing, having a low number, for example. If you've got the Beatles' White Album and you've got one of the lower numbers, it's worth more than one of the ones with one of the higher numbers. Presumably it could have come out of the same box that George Harrison's copy came out of. And again, you've got 3 CDs here. You've got a sense of tug, a sense of feel when you open it, and it tells you, oh, this is a thing that's like, not been open for a while. There's almost that there, like when they open the Ark of the Covenant. For some reason, they've decided they're going to put Eddie's shot glass in here. Quite why anyone would want to spend £100 on a box set to get a shot glass with a steel moulded version of Eddie's face in the bottom, I don't understand. It's a complete waste of money. In fact, the shot glass itself isn't particularly special. It's just the base, actually, that's special in any way. Then you've got 3 CDs, and then you've got a band map of all the myriad lineups of people that were fired from Iron Maiden over the 25 or so years, alongside some kind of weird steel ring with Eddie's face on it. This is meant to make you feel that you are special, you are beautiful, and you have access. You, one of the few who can afford this, you love the band slightly more than the people that can't afford this. There's, some element of snobbery. There's an element of elitism. There's an element of I like the band more than you do because I can spend more money on the band than you can. And it's that's one of the things that ties into all of the things about box sets. Make no mistake about it. I just love buying music. Music is the thing that was the map for me when I was lost in the world, and loving music. It helps me make sense of the world, and the music that I love, that's the stuff that saved my life. And so when we think about some of these, luxury boxes that we've got, what they're trying to do is they're trying to appeal to you now, going, if you were, if you stay in touch with a 15-year-old you, what would the 15-year-old you really, really want? Well, apart from a girlfriend, the 15-year-old version of me would absolutely, really, really want a mega box set of Metallica's Master of Puppets, which at the time I only had on a cassette. Side 1 was Master of Puppets, and cut off towards the end of the very last song indeed. Side 2 was that and the 598 EP taped off My Friend Who Lived Down the Road, because that's how we got into it. Now with this box set, for example, this is another example of fantastic box set packaging, but it's clearly designed to make you feel that you've got a secret insight into a portable museum into the life of Metallica at the time. I haven't opened this box set for a little bit of a while, so if you think about it, there's that element of tug around that. It's slightly too tight. It's designed to make you feel like, oh, there's a bit of effort, there's a bit of theatre here. I have to open it, and then you open it up and you go, what's in there? Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff. See, the contents here, by the way, this was taped to the back, this black one here. This is designed to be read left to right, but also it's so big, there's so much stuff in it that it's clearly designed to tell you, well, we can't even tell you how many songs are on it. There are too many songs. So instead, the sticker will tell you that it is, let me think now, see if I can find it. It is the box set of the greatest heavy metal album of all time, according to Kerrang magazine. It will tell you, oh, there's umpteen CDs and DVDs and things that are in here, and there's too much stuff for us to be able to tell you about what's in this box set. Of course, if I was more cynical, I would have gone through and got the sticker out in advance. The sticker is in fact here, so they don't have the sticker on the back at all. There's 10 CDs, 3 LPs, 2 DVDs, and so much more. There's too many tracks for us to tell you how many are on there, so oh my god, it must be value for money. Now, manufacturing a CD dirt cheap. DVD, dirt cheap. It'll cost about £1 to manufacture a CD. So the fact that they've got 10 DVDs or they've got 10 CDs or 2 DVDs, that's only £12 worth of actual CD there. What you're paying for is the rarity and the scarcity of the object, and what you're paying for is the fact that somebody sat down and listened to every single audience recording that you've got from that particular period of the band, and they've chosen out the ones. And again, we've got lyric sheets here, so handwritten reproductions of the lyrics to the songs that are on the album, starting, of course, with Battery, the very first song I saw Metallica play live, and ending, I think, on Damage Incorporated, which is, the last song on the album. Sorry, I listen to live Metallica more than studio Metallica these days, so I don't quite know. Again, this dirt cheap to manufacture, but the fact that it's there, you think, oh, that'll be worth a bit of money. So you look at all of the contents and the elements that are in there, and you don't think about, well, what's each one of these individual items cost? You think about, well, what's each one of these individual items worth to me? So there's a hardback book here inside Master of Puppets, and again, that details all the things that went on in the making of the album, and photographs of tapes and God knows what else. There's a copy of the LP here, the #1 thrash album of all time, by the way. There's another, by the way, that's our copy of the Music for Nations version of the album. Then we've got another live LP, live at the Aragorn Ballroom. That's only 2 LPs, that's not that expensive, only a few quid. And then you've got some badges, don't need those stinking badges. We've got a tape, which I don't even know if anyone can listen to that tape. You've got DVDs, CDs, and the badges are in here to stop counterfeiters, really, actually. If you look at some of the other box sets, they've got things in that you don't need, like the Pink Floyd ones have got marbles in. And everyone goes, well, what the hell have they got bloody marbles in for? They've got marbles in because it's difficult to get marbles made. It's expensive, and counterfeiters are going to have to make their fake versions of the box sets without the marbles in, and that means that somebody somewhere is going to notice it's not a legit thing because it hasn't got the marbles. But again, you look at Master of Puppets, it's got a number on there. My number is 280 out of 25,000. You are one of the few, if you own this. You like this album more than all the other millions of people that own it because you own one of the 25,000 limited edition box sets. Me, I'm just sitting there and going, lots of lovely music to listen to. Ooh, I like it. So let's have a quick look at Pink Floyd's The Wall box set. Don't worry, I'm getting to Achtung Baby. I'm just talking you through and again, this is how box sets are designed. So you look at Pink Floyd's The Wall. Just if I have to put this down to open it because there's a bit of resistance in there. And again, there's stickers and foam padding. There's what the hell is it? Why does anyone have a fucking beer mat? And there's marbles in here and a flag, and you just go, it's just a waste of money. I don't know why they do it, although I did just explain why they did do it. It's pointless. It really, really is, because really all I'm interested in is, well, what can I listen to? What can I hear? What can I feel? How will this, music affect me? And if all you're really interested in is the CDs themselves or the music or whatever, a band can sell you CDs really, really cheaply. If you're Kraftwerk, for example, here's the 8 CD box set of the catalogue. That retails for about £39. It's 8 CDs, although actually there's only 4 CDs worth of music on there because most of the albums are no more than 40 minutes in length because they were recorded for the vinyl world. You've got a little booklet. You've got the reproduction vinyl sleeves in here, and then you kind of go, well, that's £42. That's 4 hours of live Kraftwerk, which is very, very nice. But again, you look at it and it's like, feel the resistance that you've got when you take that out. There's an element of theatre in that. You're opening up a secret world. The vinyl version of the catalogue, by the way, is significantly more expensive. I got my copy significantly reduced from a well-known online retailer named after a forest and a river. But when you look at this one here, the 3D catalogue, the Blu-ray edition of it, this is a classic example of box set theatre. It is designed to make you feel like you are opening something of worth and rarity. So we're going to open that. I'm going to talk you through the experience, not because it's an unboxing video, but to expose you how the psychological tricks inside making a box set actually work. So this is a triumph of packaging over content, this box set. If you open it up, You can hear that it's just slightly too tight, so it's not. Oh, I'm opening the the electronic music's Ark of the Covenant here. You open that up, and then you go right. So I moved that. Some 3D glasses that I was given at a Craftwork show, because otherwise you couldn't see it. There's a book. Again, the book in itself, book is not worth, a huge amount of money. It's just a very glossy hardback book. These can be produced for £20 or thereabouts, I would have thought. And then you've got, this is what you came for. This is a Blu-ray set of 4 Blu-rays. This is the music. This is what you've bought. The rest of it is just fluff, really. It really, really is. And, they've put it in a box that's bigger than it needs to be. Extra packaging to make you feel like you're getting something that's more than it's worth. Now, I've just talked around Achtung Baby. I haven't really talked about Achtung Baby at all. So let's talk through how the Achtung Baby box set works. Now, there have been 3 releases of Achtung Baby. As I've mentioned before, there's the 1991 CD album there, an LP, which we've got there. Then in 2011 came this box set, the Achtung Baby 10-disc set. There was also an Uber version that came with coloured vinyl, 7 inches, reproduction sunglasses, and fan club magazines, which sold for about £260. When you open this, I'm going to do an unboxing of this in a way that kind of tries to reveal the psychological secrets that they have around the box. So you look at that and you go, well, it's got a sticker on it, and it's got too many tracks on. Because instead of having individual tracks, it just lists the name of the discs on here. So we've got Achtung Baby. We've got a remaster of 1993's Europa. You don't need that, by the way, because that album sold billions and squillions. You've got Uber remixes and Unter remixes, whatever those are. You've got B-sides and bonus tracks. Then you've got Kindergarten, the alternative Achtung Baby, which is alternate mixes of the album. Then you've got 4 DVDs. So you've got From the Sky Down, a documentary which was on British television, although the version of From the Sky Down that's on this box set is missing 10 minutes from the version that's on Blu-ray. You've got the videos, you've got bonus material, whatever that is, and then you've got Zoo TV live from Sydney, the concert, and you've got a 92-page hardback book and 16 12x12 Achtung Baby art prints. So what you've got here is really a triumph of packaging. This is designed to make you feel like you've got your money's worth in it. This was before CDs were really a thing. So you open the box set out. Again, you've got that slight sense of resistance here. So maybe it's packed ever so slightly tightly. You've got a sense of theatre. So you're opening this up. You've got air pockets inside there. You've got resistance. You've got a sense of being part of a secret world, of accessing something but look, if you've got the money, we'll let you into the secret. It's okay. The secret is you can spend your money with us. And okay, so you've got a sense of archaeology, a sense of discovery here when you've got this. And it's part of the magician's reveal, actually. It's the power of anticipation. This is why unboxing videos are very, very, very popular on YouTube. It's going, well, I'm showing you something. I don't watch unboxing videos, but you've got that sense of the magician's reveal where they pull the rabbit out of the hat and you go, oh my God, look at this, like reaction videos or something, I don't know. And what you see is just as important as what you feel. You feel the friction of it coming out of the box, and you also hear the sound of the revelation of the air being uncorked. Give me a fedora hat and set me in 1930s Egypt, and I will open the Ark of the Covenant. And you've got a sense of perceived value here, a sense of discovery. You're being given access to a secret world which you weren't allowed to see before. It's all smoke and mirrors. This is a CD and music delivery system, and it's just a very, very simply packaged one to make you part with your money. There's a thing called the Irrational Value Assessments, which comes inside box sets. So if someone said to you, well, you can have 6 CDs and you can have 10 DVDs and you can have a book and it's going to cost you over £100, you might sit there and go, over £100, that's a lot of money. That's like a food shop for a week. It really is. I'm not sure I can afford that. But then you sit there and you go, yeah, but if I like this band and this band is like obscure, or if this band is something that has a lot of meaning to me, I want to spend money with this band because this band has a meaning to me. I, by the way, am fully aware that I'm as guilty of this as anybody else. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I'm a sucker too, and there's one of us born every single minute. And we have an idea around the Irrational Value Assessment, which is a prestige that is linked to the price, not the cost of the ingredients that are inside the value of the idea. So what you're paying for isn't just the content. You're paying for the scarcity of ideas, the limited nature of it. So, for example, when you see things that are very, very well designed, many bands do, for example, limited edition T-shirts, where they pair up with fashion houses, and you ought to do this quite a bit actually as well. You're not paying for the t-shirt, you're paying for the fact that the time that has gone into somebody sitting there and thinking about it and making this and then deliberately limiting it to say, right, there's only going to be 60 or 100 of this particular item. You can only buy this t-shirt from one particular retailer, and it's kind of a bastardization of an old design, and you want the old design but you can't have the old design, so we're going to do something that reminds you of the old design, and we're going to charge you the same price that we could probably get for the original t-shirt on eBay. This is the kind of thing we've got. So we've got an implied value inside the contents here, which is why they tell you that there's 10 discs on here. Each one of those discs would be, I don't know, however many. The DVDs, let's say they're 2 hours each, so you've got 8 hours to watch. And then each of the CDs are going to be between an hour and 80 minutes. So you've got something like, 14, 16 hours of U2 here. That's where the perceived value of the contents comes from. The Metallica box set for the Black Album has over 26 hours of music in it. It's got 350 songs. It's impossible to think about. If I watched that all in one go, I'd start to feel really, really terrible. I'd need sleep and food and maybe a visit to the toilet. Whereas, the box set, this is perceived value of the contents. Now, the pictures and the words and the colours are all designed to evoke certain things in you. This is designed to evoke memories of who you were when you were younger, when you had a full head of hair like me, and when you didn't have any money, when you were like 15 or 20 or 25 or something. And goes, now you've got the opportunity to catch up on the thing that you couldn't afford at the time, because if this had come out in 1991, you'd be like, I want it, but £200 is that's like a month's rent. I can't afford that. Now, of course, it knows the demographics and the ages of the people that like the band. It knows the disposable income that the people have got from the band. It's designed to separate you from the money. And here's the theatre that comes into the opening. So we've got the sense of feel, the heft, the weight of it. It's designed to make you feel like you've got something that's worth your money. And then you've got the element of feel, the resistance, the slight kind of, yes, it doesn't really want to come out, but it will. And then you've got the sound of it as it comes out as well. Someone's thought about all of these things. And when you've got the sound as it comes out, it feels like it's worth its money. You're welcome to the rock music Ark of the Covenant, the secret museum of U2 from 1991 to 1993. And it's all here for you. It's a museum in a box. We've got clean, minimalist design, relatively speaking, which is more obvious on the 30th anniversary version of Achtung Baby that I'll show you in a minute. You've got, logos, and you've got an element of the mental accounting, which is you segment parts of your understanding of how much things cost. So, for example, if someone said to you, well, a pint of cider will cost you £6.35, you'll be like, that's a lot of money. But then you think of it in relation to other things. So, a pint of caviar would probably cost an enormous amount of money. A pint of a very particular ancient wine would cost maybe hundreds of pounds. So £6.35 for a pint of apple juice, which has been fermented, doesn't seem like a rip-off, except, of course, until you go to a pub that's not in London and it costs you £3.30. But what you've got is you've got an idea of a price per song. So the Metallica box set for the Black Album, 350 songs for less than £200 just. So you then think, that's about 60p a song. That's probably pretty good value, actually. That's cheaper than a CD that's probably 10 songs for, 12, £13, or a vinyl LP, which is probably 11 songs for about £25. And then you start to rationalise it into, the mental accounting of judging things by relative values as opposed to absolute values. There's also kind of like the idea that, you look at things in terms of scale. So a large Big Mac meal may cost 40p more than a medium-sized Big Mac meal, although a large Big Mac meal contains more than the equivalent differential. So let's say a Big Mac meal costs £6 and a large one costs £6.40. I'm guessing at the prices, by the way. The large Big Mac meal contains more than 10% more of the chips and the drink, and so therefore you'll go, right, so that's worth it, I'm getting more. It isn't really. The raw ingredients is not exactly the same thing as the cost. The price of wood has gone up by 50% since Brexit and COVID, but what you're finding is people are trying to put their prices up by 50% because of the price of the raw materials, and you go, well, actually you're not taking into account the price of the people that work there, the supply chain that goes into it, the cost of getting the crates across various parts of the world. You're just thinking about the raw cost of the actual items and ingredients themselves, and not about the rest of the supply chain. McDonald's still make a load of money out of you if you buy a large Big Mac meal, probably more by percentage than they do if you buy a medium one. because the cost of the relative difference of the ingredients, the extra chips and the extra drink, is not 40p. As I said before, 2 litres of full fat Coke costs 6p to manufacture. You are not getting an extra 8 litres or 10 litres of drink when you get a large Big Mac meal. You just feel like you're getting a better deal out of it when you're not really, and the percentage differential that you've got in there is your entry cost. That's how these things work. The second one you've got is you've got a thing called decision anchoring. So you've got variables that sit alongside those. So, for example, human beings can only remember a certain amount of information. We can remember 7 to 12 numbers. And that is why phone numbers aren't longer than 7 to 12 numbers. Because if you put an extra digit on to your phone number, you'd find you couldn't remember it. That's why phone numbers are the length that they are. That's why the list of ingredients that's listed on the back of the box set for the Achtung Baby 20th anniversary edition just has 10, 12 lines on it. Any more than that, you look at it and just go, I can't remember what's in there. It's lots. That's why the track listing that we've got for the Metallica box sets is on the inside of the box set, because there's no way you look at it and remember it's got 350 songs on it. I didn't. I had to count that it had 350 songs on it. If it has 10 or 12 items of text, you'll remember that there, which is why I think sometimes albums are maybe 10 or 12 songs long, because you then look at the back that we've got here for Achtung Baby, and it's got the 12 songs that are on there. That's the limit of what you remember. Side 1, side 2, those are the song titles. Then when you get to CD bloat and you get to CDs that are 18 or 20 songs, you just think that's a lot of songs, and some of them are bound to be crap. And anybody who owns Tori Amos's Boys for Pele album will know that that is a provable fact. What you've got is almost too much choice. Especially when you've got multiple different coloured vinyl versions of an album. I think about some of the vinyl releases that we've had recently. There's an Idols album that I think has got something like 17 different vinyl colours, depending upon which retailers you go for. And in the end, there's almost decision paralysis. So I look at the number of vinyl options that there are, and I go, fuck it, I'll just have one coloured vinyl. And if I'm going to buy a vinyl version of the album, I might as well buy a coloured one, right? Whereas I don't want to have to go to Partisan. I don't want to have to go to a comic shop in Detroit. I don't have to go to 17 different exclusive retailers and Rough Trade to make sure I get all the different colours. I'm not going to like the album more because I've got 17 copies of it. I'm going to like the album because it's a good album, and that's the thing that really, really matters. Now we've got this element of around decision anchoring where they've got too much choice, and in the end it kind of shuts down the choice options. So you think about, eventually they're going to get to the point where they're using Pantone colours as the colour vinyl. So the colour vinyl isn't red or blue or green, it's Pantone 626 or Pantone 618. And you look at some of the vinyl editions that there are, and you just think that's just bloody ridiculous. Nobody needs the same album on 6 different or 17 or different colours. You need it once, maybe twice if you wear out your first copy. And what you really need to do is to listen to it and to love it, because that's what it's there for. That's what it really, really is there for. We've also got an element of fake and rushed design, which, by the way, I absolutely hate fake rushed design. You see it on TV credits, you see it on album covers. For example, Nevermind the Bollocks has fake rush design on there. It's clearly the point and product of a number of rush decisions. So if you look at something like the sleeve art that you've got here, there aren't spelling mistakes or crossing outs. It's all designed with a thing in mind. But then sometimes you watch, and I was watching it, Metallica in Detroit 1998, and they kind of fake slapped a logo on that we're in too much of a rush to put it straight. We're in too much of a rush to make it look good. We're in too much of a rush to make sure all the fonts line up. We're in too much of it to fix the typos. And I'm like, don't bullshit me. It's a deliberate decision to create a sense of artificial scarcity, of something being rushed out of the system. Something where you go, well, I've made a couple of mistakes, but it's okay because we're in a hurry and that's art, baby. It's like, well, what's wrong with having good kerning? What's wrong with having it sitting in certain, lines and alignments and fonts and things like that? Where's the risk of that? Now, I've suddenly remembered an example of something which really, really annoys me. I'm going to have to go up here and give you David Bowie at Glastonbury 2000. Now, I'm going to sound very, very grumpy when I'm sat here, but that is an example of classic fake rushed design, because with a couple of minor adjustments you can get all of the songs in this row here. You don't have to then break it up. So in fact, you've got CD1, CD2, DVD. Why is it bright? Why you got 3 discs and you can have the contents of 3 discs on 3 lines, and all you need to do is to move the copyright notice up to here and make it vertical, and you can have 3 lines. You can put the whole of one set on there. You can put the whole of the DVD on there. You can put the copyright design here, and it doesn't look crap. And that's the problem, is when you look at certain things, you get a sense that, you know, it's been rushed. It's like, oh, we've put it, but it's slightly off at an angle. Oh, aren't we a bit wacky, a bit weird? No, it's just crap, cheap design, designed to look fake and rushed and create a sense of artificial scarcity, in the same way that the Paul McCartney, I think, Unplugged album was a limited edition of 500,000. That's not a limited edition when it's the size of the 4th biggest city in the country, you know. Or Shakespeare's Sisters Stay CD, which I remember there was somebody that was very, very annoyed and wrote into, I think, Smash Hits, and went, I've got the limited edition of the 2nd CD of the Shakespeare's Sister single. It's currently limited to 200,000, and this CD has been #1 for 4 weeks. It's not very limited. You know, it's those type of things where you look at fake induced artificial scarcity to make you feel like you should have something, and that's where you then start to think, oh, it's a limited edition, it's I've got to buy it, spend a little bit more for it, because there's not going to be much chance of getting it. I think about the value proposition when it comes to box sets. So you see, if you're going to spend £100, at least give them all their own sleeves, you know. And whilst you've got a 92-page book here, and you've got various things around it, this is well designed. This doesn't have any elements of fake rush designed in there to make it look like it's an official bootleg or anything like that. You know, the typography and design, that's clearly had care and attention that's put to it. But then you put Achtung Baby back in to its lovely little box set here. Bear in mind, I haven't shown you the art prints yet, and I don't think I'm going to. You shove it in and get, oh, just about, and then you get, oh, that sense, that heft. It's worth its weight in probably, you know, sweets. But for the 30th anniversary version of Achtung Baby, we thought, well, what can they do? I tell you what they can do. They could put out a smaller version of the 2011 box set that's now deleted and quite rare. Yeah, and you can do 6 CDs. This is the Waterboys Fisherman's Box, which is a selection of 6 CDs, which is £18, by the way. And this doesn't feel like a cheap product. You know, it's perhaps not £100 worth of product, but it's got, you know, CDs in card sleeves with a book. That for £18, you then thought, well, okay, so you can do a 30th anniversary version of Achtung Baby. You can do that for 20 quid. No, you can't. You know, and when they did the 30th anniversary version of Achtung Baby, you know, did they decide to put the Zoo TV soundtrack on there, recorded live at Sydney? The answer to that is no. Even though the DVD of Live at Sydney, not a Blu-ray, the DVD of Live at Sydney is on the Achtung Baby mega set over there. What you haven't got, if you buy the Achtung Baby mega set over there, you haven't got the 2nd DVD, which is on here, which has several bonus tracks, 4 bonus tracks and 3 documentaries and some videos. You don't have the audio from the show on CD, although the audio is on bootleg CD. It's also on the fan club CD. And here's a Korean VCD of it, actually, from 1994. So what would you put on your 40th anniversary version of Achtung Baby? Would you put the Salome demos, bearing in mind that there are, you know, 4 hours and about 50 tracks on here, many of which are not released? No, you won't. No, absolutely not. This is your 30th anniversary version of Achtung Baby. No CD, but a vinyl, by the way. And quite a disappointing vinyl from one respect, and the other way, this is clearly a very nice bit of packaging here, but it's just packaging. There's not one bit of previously unheard audio on any of the 30th anniversary versions of Achtung Baby. So when you have the 30th anniversary version of the Joshua Tree, about 4 or 5 years ago, for example, you have the original CD of the Joshua Tree, there it is. You had the 20th anniversary version of the Joshua Tree, this is here. This came with a book, 2 CDs with 4 previously unreleased studio tracks, and a live concert from Paris and a documentary in there. What more could you put for the 30th anniversary version? Well, you could put 4 CDs in this massive, great big whacking box here. You could have a couple of books, you could have a live show from Denver, you could have B-sides, you could have remixes. Okay, so you're going to put out a 30th anniversary version of Achtung Baby. Brilliant, best-selling album, by the way. 30th anniversary version. I'm sure there's some live shows you could put on there, or some demos that have been previously unreleased, or you could do something that would maybe make that £100 box set that's over there, make that more available. And by the way, anybody that tells you that vinyl is where it's at is full of shit. The ABBA album sold 149,000 copies on vinyl. Sorry, 149,000 copies on CD. It sold under 30,000 copies on vinyl, and bearing in mind that there were multiple different coloured vinyl versions that came out. It also sold 4,000 copies on cassette, which means that the vinyl version of the ABBA album sold 1/5 of the CD. Yet CDs are dying and vinyl is a booming format and everybody loves it. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to press the bullshitometer there, because that's clearly a pile of shit. People are still buying CDs. Put stuff out on CD is what people buy, okay? People buy vinyl, sure, if they're like me. I am well aware that most people in the world are not like me, and most people in the world are probably very glad that they're not like me. Stick the stuff out on CD. So your 30th anniversary version of Achtung Baby. Man, you've got so much stuff you could put out. Let's just put the old album in a new sleeve with 2 vinyl discs and make it coloured. So let's have a look at this vinyl. I like it. It's got a different colour. It's got a different cover here. It's got a lovely cover. This is Cosmo, the Space Baby. It's got the Trabant there, and it's got a number on the back, number 1791. So let's open it. It's got an alternate sleeve on there. So what sleeve have I got? I have got Adam. At last I have the album Adam by U2, except it's just Achtung Baby with a slightly different sleeve on. And yes, this is the uncensored version there of a man and his bottom. But there are 4 different versions of these covers. There's one called Carnalville. There's one with the cows on the front, and there's obviously Adam, and there's a version with a picture of Bono on. So you've got the LP. It's not even a gatefold, by the way. So you open up what's inside the 30th anniversary version of it. So you've got a poster, which I haven't opened yet. You've got a 16-page booklet, which is, by the way, not the same as the inner sleeve and lyric booklet. This is effectively a big version of the CD booklet that we've got. And we've got 2 vinyl discs of Achtung Baby, 3 songs aside. The limited edition of this is comes on a red vinyl here, and it comes on a blue vinyl on this, which means that I, by the way, now have every U2 album on coloured vinyl or picture disc. And the reason I feel okay about buying it is because my original copy from 1991 is has seen a lot of love over the years. But it's a really disappointing 30th anniversary version of it. So you can look at it and go, yes, that feels like you're getting something which is, you know, value for money-ish. If £44.99 for an LP feels like value for money. But the album sounded fine on one vinyl disc. You just had to crank up the volume. It was okay when it had, you know, it had an inner sleeve and it had a lyric booklet in it. What you've got really for Achtung Baby for its 30th birthday is a triumph of packaging over content. And what they're doing is they're selling you paper products that you don't need in order to make you spend money that you don't necessarily need to spend with bands that definitely don't need your money. Now that sounds very, very cynical. I really like this package. It is really, really nice, but it is also really, really expensive for what it is. You know, it's £44.99 for what is not £44.99 worth of stuff. It really isn't. You know, that box set which you had, that was worth that much money. This, I mean, yes, it is, and it isn't at the same time. It's also really difficult to get this back inside the slipcase because the flap on the inside is very, very tight. So just listen to that as it goes in. There you go. And it's difficult to get in and out. So again, it ticks the box where it comes to go, oh, it's the exclusivity factor. Oh, it's a little bit rare. Oh, it feels like I'm opening up the Ark of the Covenant. Box sets are designed to separate you from your money. They're designed to give you an experience when you open them that is not actually around a music delivery system at all. They're designed to make you feel like you're somehow getting access to some part of rock's great lost archaeology. This Joshua Tree box set is specifically designed to be absolutely enormous and it's designed to make you feel like, you know, you've got the heft there. It's difficult when it gets out, it doesn't quite fit. You've got that sense of air that comes out of it. You half expect to be wearing a fedora. You know, you've got a sense of opening it, this book that you don't need, this set of photographs that you don't need, this LP that you've already got, this live LP that you think should be released on its own, and, you know, 3 discs of other bits and bobs as well. And you end up going, it's designed to create a sense of theatre and discovery when you open it, as opposed to, you know, be a useful value-led decision around, you know, going, well, that's good value for money. These aren't good value for money. You know, put the CDs in a box and sell them in budget formats. People will still go and buy the super expensive versions, and people will still have that sense of, oh, I've got something that you haven't, and that's absolutely fine. Let them do that. But please make the music more affordable to people that can't afford to spend huge amounts of money. Otherwise, they're going to go onto Spotify, they're going to go and listen to them, and you're going to see bugger all, and then you're going to moan that Spotify don't pay any money. You know, people do want to buy physical products, but not ones that are grossly overpriced for the content that is within. Now, I'm not sure if I've done a good job of explaining the psychology of how box sets are designed to separate you from your money. If you want to think about yourself as a rock music version of Indiana Jones going through some archaeology, this is exactly the type of thing that's designed for you. The bands are clever. They know how much money you've got, and they know how to make you spend it on them. Thank you. See you again soon, and stay beautiful. Bye.